Okay, so we're continuing this research here about my socks and radiation here at the undergraduate library of the University of Michigan, the Superior Library, on the highest floor here, faced towards the University of Michigan Law School, which would be southwest, and then just on the other side of this, um, I believe it's a museum. Well, let's see, it says William L. Clemens Library, I believe. Uh, is the president of the University of Michigan's mansion. Okay, so we're gonna put some more distance between us and those socks and see if we still get well, let's take a shot. Okay. Don't quite know what to make of that. It could be the radiation they radiating from those socks. So let's see if we still get a reading from the. So it looks like we do. And that was at 65% sensitivity. So let's crank it up now. Usually there's a sound. I don't know why there isn't a sound. So what I'm going to do now is kind of reset that app just to make sure. That there isn't some virus in it that could be disturbing its ability to read accurately. Here. I'm not going to give it permission to use the camera because apparently cameras produce an excessive amount of electronic radiation, and I don't want that to be a factor in what that app is detecting in my immediate ambient environment. All right. So then I gotta do this, and then I gotta do that. And I'm gonna recalibrate here. All right. Okay. And there still appears to be very high radiation. So what we can do is well, I don't have many directions to go in relation to talks without obstruction. These books here, I understand that the iron composition of the print within these books has a ferroelectromagnetic draw because of the carbon content. So at this point, if I move outside of the site, at least of these socks, I may be getting into a realm of a circumstance by which I'm detecting other sources of radiation. Like that. See, those aren't UV radiation lights. They're more incandescent. You can tell by the dull brightness compared to UV lamps. Also, it would be counter purposeful to have UV lights placed in a sealing apparatus that conceals them in the fashion that these lights are concealed. If there is a dual intent to not only use them for lighting but also a sterilization cycle to help aid in a clean and sterile environment of objects like chairs and desks and so on. So I'm not getting any negative from this lighting, but I am from that. So I find, I mean, I think it's reasonable that the buses may not be running on time today when, and earlier when I stood at a bus stop to catch one to North Campus, which was my original intent for a destination. And then after waiting for nearly an hour, when the bus schedules here on weekends is every 25 minutes, I decided, well, I was kind of, I think, led by necessity to this building as one of the few public commons. And then now here I am, not by my first choice, but by necessity, experiencing something like this. To me, that is suggestive, maybe to a minimal effect or degree of design and pre-planned and premeditated manipulation of my travel and conduct. Very similar working principles to that of any basic research model. Okay, so let's see. All right, so a little lower reading, but still high radiation detection. It is true that ionized radiation energy makes up a small amount of the composition of natural gas. And therefore, it is true that I don't have information that would be able to explain whether the excessively high radiation that my device is detecting is reflected in that very small amount of ionized radiation in natural gas, or if it's in fact detecting a legitimate excessive amount of ionized energy beyond what could be found in natural gas. Because this device that I'm using as a smart device is just not, I don't believe it to be sensitive enough, such as a Geiger counter, to give an accurate measurement of the amount of ionized energy present in my immediate ambient environment. But based on all the videos that I've demonstrated my use of this app and this device on various objects that also accounted for the consequence that came about and that comes about in circumstances that I've experienced. I think a more intelligent authority can interpret all of this data that I upload on the internet and get a better idea of what it is that I'm experiencing, detecting. So, but based on the fact that I have experienced harm, physical, external, and internal of my body, I'm inclined to believe that what my two apps are detecting with my smartphone, sensitive capacity is more than the small, negligible amount of ionized energy that can be found in natural gas. To me, I don't need a PhD to come to that conclusion. So anyway, in this corner, it's 272. And that is the characteristic space thereof. In this corner, it jumps up. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Closer I get to these windows, closer I get to these socks. Oh, it's with the socks that they jump up. So right now they're at the socks, and they're at that range. So now I'm in this dilemma based on what I were able to come to apprehension yesterday with these shoes. Is, do I put the socks on? Are they the lesser evil of electromagnetic burn signatures, electromagnetic energy burn signatures that are within my shoes upon the leather, genuine leather construction parts that most likely facilitated in the physical harm that I've experienced. So with these shoes, it's also just as high as the socks. Or with this shoe, excuse me. Let's see. One of the gang stalking discursive communications of apprehension of harm that is often communicated to me is a symbol of brown shoes. 2 years later, I still don't know exactly what brown shoes mean, other than to associate them with some type of competent medical professional, as that has been my only consistent and significant reference of brown shoes of the most distinctive characteristic or circumstance. Seeing a professional, medical professional, such as a neurologist, wearing brown shoes. But I've experienced the presentation, the conspicuous presentation of brown shoes as what I consider to be discursive, gang stalking, sensitized communication in a number of circumstances and presentations that I have not been able to narrow down a definitive suggestion of what that might possibly mean. Unlike other communications of discursive communication, by sensitized effort of gang stalkers here in Ann Arbor, Michigan. So in this shoe is actually sustains at the highest number we've seen so far, which is about 320. So okay. There are students about, but not many, if any, anymore on this floor other than myself. So I mean, students know there shouldn't be anyone on this campus at the University of Michigan, Ann Arbor, let alone in the city of Ann Arbor, Michigan, that don't know about me and what's going on. And nobody's helped me. Nobody's come to me. No one's done anything because it's the University of Michigan. So many people in this area are dependent upon this university, including the city itself, the municipality, and all the smaller businesses. Naturally, students have their tuition tied up into this institution. There's conflict of interest. Their students, also, they haven't lived life enough to understand the ramifications and the possible consequences of being a part of such an institution and its malicious, destructive, unlawful, inhumane practices. And so, they're either contributing to all of this against me as harm, or they are remaining passive aggressive and hoping that the situation will be dissolved in to a resolution, I guess. So, I mean, it's my personal opinion that you would be hard pressed to meet anyone that's had anything to do with this city or this university for the past 3 years to date that don't know anything about this. And if they did know about it, did nothing about it to help the victim in this case, which would be me and numerous others in my social economic position, but don't dare to come forward and try to do something or fight back or to expose all of this because they just don't have the education or the money, um, or the means to. And Ann Arbor does offer a significant amount of conveniences for the homeless to exist. And naturally, someone with a compromised lifestyle, reduced to homelessness, would not want to leave Ann Arbor. And so, once again, there's a conflict of interest, even to that lowest level of social economic status within Ann Arbor, Michigan, to just not get involved or to contribute to the best ability possible to ensure that I don't make videos and get them on the internet, or that they don't stay on the internet as proof. And perhaps to further um, uh, expedite my destruction in various ways for the protection of their interests. So I mean, just getting in the light now, looking at my feet now for the first time in a while. There's some yellowing here that almost looks like jaundice. Um, it's, reflected of the dead skin here. Uh, okay, so this is new to me. It looks like my feet is irradiated. It's a U of M vehicle. But I've gone to the University of Michigan Emergency Room Hospital in the past, more than once, more than maybe 5 times, and reported incidences and my concern of being exposed to excessive radiation. And consistently they tell me that there's nothing wrong with me. And then ultimately, the last few times I've gone there, they have referred me to a neurologist for possible delusion. They've mischaracterized me as being bipolar. They've mischaracterized me as being psychotic with delusion characteristics. Yeah, it's unimaginable. The worst, unethical, unimaginable practice and cover up and malpractice. I mean, just. So. Right. Right. let's see what the other meter is. All right, so I'm putting this, you know, on the top of my feet area is 301, 303, and on the bottom near the skin, dead skin, it jumps up to 316, 318. I saw quickly. Students of the University of Michigan, as well as faculty and staff, they have some means with their smart devices and laptop computers to draw energy from specific sources that I engage in assessing with my smart device. And so they can block and suppress the energy or signal that's being given off by various objects, even here including my foot, by being in close enough proximity to me and using those devices. I don't quite know how they do it, but I've noticed the phenomenon of the cause and effect